Using place value is what we're going to look at in this video. It's split into 4 parts. So we're going to start off by looking at questions with multiplying of whole numbers like that one there, and then move on to looking at multiplication with decimals, and then division with decimals and division with whole numbers. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is I do. You are then going to press pause and have a go at the example on the right, which is you do. And at the bottom of the slide, you can see the type of example it is. So here we've been given some information that 52 times 6 is 312. And we've been asked to write down the value of 5.2 times 6. So I can see straight away with 5.2 times 6, what's different between what's been given here and here. Well, I can see that the 52 has been divided by 10, which means I'm going to do the answer, which is 312 from there, and I'm just going to divide that by 10. And I'm just going to hop the decimal 1 to the left, and that becomes 31.2. Okay, now looking at the next one, I can see that with this, we have multiplied by 10. The 52, and if I compare this to this, I can see it's been divided by 100. So I do the exact same thing. I look at the original answer, which was 312. I'm going to times it by 10, which gives me 3120, and then I'm going to divide it by 100. So I'm just going to hop the decimal 2 to the left. So the answer here becomes 31.2. And looking at the last one, I can see we have comparing this to the original question. We can see this has been divided by 100, so I'm going to write that down. Now comparing this to the original question, I can see it's been divided by 10. So I'm going to take the original answer, which is that one there, and I'm going to divide it by 100 and then 10. So if I divide that by 100, I hop the decimal 2 to the left, which is 33.12, and then I'm going to divide it by 10, which then becomes 0.312. Okay, so all you're doing is comparing the question, the original question, to what you've been given, and then writing down what's changed, and then you're just going to do whatever's changed to the original answer. So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. So looking at this, what's changed here, the 9's the same. Now the 23 has been divided by 10, so that means I'm going to take the original answer and divide that by 10, so that becomes 20.7. Now looking at the next one, this has been times by 10, and this has been times by 10. So I'm going to take the original answer and times it by 10 twice, and that becomes 20700. And then looking at the last one, we have it's been divided by 10 and divided by 100. So I'm going to take the original question, divide it by 10, which means hop the decimal 1 to the left, and then divide it by 100, which means hop it twice to the left. So the answer becomes 0.207. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now moving on, we have decimals in the question itself, but it's the exact same approach, okay? So if you look at this one here, comparing this to the original question, we can see that 29, in fact, if I just zoom in a bit, it'll make it a little bit easier. So I can see that with 29.6, if I compare that to the original question, we can see the decimal has moved 1 to the right, which means this has been multiplied by 10. And if I then compare the 32 and 3.2, I can see that the decimal has been hopped to the right. So this has also been multiplied by 10. All that means is I take the original answer and then I multiply it by 10 twice. So that just means I'm going to hop the decimal 1, 2, and that becomes 947.2. Now looking at the next one, again, comparing this to the original question, it's the exact same. So we don't need to do anything here. Comparing this to the original question, it's the exact same. So actually the answer here is just the exact same. And looking at the last one, so comparing this to that, we can see the decimal has hopped to the right twice. So we times by 100. And then comparing this to this, we can see the decimal has hopped to the left. So we are now dividing by 10. So again, if I look at the original question answer, which is that one there, if I times this by 100, I move 2 to the right. So that's that done. And then if I divide it by 10, I just move 1 back. So that means I'm going to hop 2 to the right. So it ends up there. And then I'm going to divide by 10. So it ends up there. So the answer is 9.472. So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at the example on the right. So with this one, we have multiplied it by 10. And with this one, we have also multiplied it by 10. So the answer becomes 4720.8. And with this one, we have multiplied it by 100. And then on this side, we have divided it by 10. So we're going to move the decimal 2 to the right and then 1 back to the left. So we're just going to hop the decimal once. And then finally, we have this. So here we can see we have divided by 10, and then we have multiplied by 10. And that just balances out because you move 1 to the left and then 1 back to the right. So that just becomes 47.208. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers, mark your work. And now moving on, we are looking at division. Now with division, things are a little bit different. It's not as straightforward, okay? So what's different with division is, again, we are going to do the exact same first few steps. So you compare the 52 to this and you write down what's changed. Well, this has been divided by 10. You compare the next one, that's not changed. So with my answer, all I need to do is take the original answer, hop the decimal ones to the left, okay? So this is the same. This hasn't actually changed so far. Now, if I look at the next one, this has been times by 10. So all I do is times my answer, the original answer, by 10. That's that done. Now with this one, we again write down what's changed. Nothing's changed here. This has been times by 10. Now this is where you need to take care, okay? This is the denominator. So if I wrote this as a fraction, it would be 52 over 20. Now whatever happens to the denominator, you do the opposite, okay? So because this says times 10, we are actually going to do divide 10 to get our answer. So the answer here is 2.6, okay? You do the opposite. So now if I look at the next one, this has been divided by 10, and this has been divided by 10 too. But with this one, remember, we have to do the opposite, okay, because it's the denominator. So in fact, we actually have to times 10, so I'll cross that off. So this one, the answer stays the same because the original answer is 26. If I hop the decimal one to the left, I then hop it one back to the right, it ends up where it started. So the answer here is 26, okay? So the only thing you need to remember is with the denominators, if they change, you do the opposite. So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a got the example on the right. So if I look at this one, with the first example, we can see that this has been divided by 10. So I just divide my answer by 10, hop it one to the left. With the next one, it's been multiplied by 100. So I just multiply my answer by 100, straightforward. Next one, this has been divided by 10, and this has been times by 100. Now remember, with this, we have to do the opposite, yeah? So I'm going to use my different color. We can cross that off and say, actually, we're going to divide by 100. So altogether, we are hopping the decimal 3 times now to the left. So the original answer was 42. So we're going to hop 1, 2, 3. So the answer becomes 0.042 here. And the last one, we can see we have a divide 10 here, and we have a divide 10 here, but we do the opposite, remember, so that becomes times 10, and the answer stays the same because you hop once to the left and then once to the right, and it becomes the same thing. So that is that. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers, mark your work. And then just looking at a final example on this. So again, with this one, we start the same way. How is this different to the original question? Well, this has been times by 10 because the decimals hopped one to the right. So that means the answer is just going to hop the one to the right, and that is all. Now with the next one, we have a divide by 10 here. So that means with the answer, we are just going to divide by 10. Awesome. With the next one, we have a times 10 here, and we have a times 10 here. But remember, with the denominator, you have to do the opposite. So I'll cross this off, and this becomes divide 10, which means the answer, in fact, just stays the same because we're hopping the decimal once to the right and then once to the left. So that just means the answer is just going to stay that. And then finally, we have a times 10 here, and then we have a times 100 here. So remember, here we do the opposite, so we divide by 100. So we are just going to hop the decimal once. So that means that's the original answer. If I divide it by 100, but if I times it by 10 first, it moves over there. And then if I divide it by 100, I just move it back. So that's 0.1024 is my final answer. Now, hopefully, you've pressed pause and had a great example on the right. So again, write down what's different. So this has been divided by 10. Okay, so the answer just divides by 10. So this case is quite straightforward. In this one, it has been divided by 100. So I just divide by 100. Hop the decimal twice to the left. Now in this one, it's been divided by 1000. And this has been times by 100. Now remember, with the denominator, you do the opposite. So we divide that by 100. So altogether, we are hopping the decimal. You count how many zeros there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So we're going to hop the decimal to the left 5 times. So that gives us an answer of 0.0011125. Okay, we have hopped from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then finally, we have a divide by 100. And we have a times by 100. But remember, this one becomes the opposite. So we have 4 zeros altogether. So we're going to hop 4 times. Because we're dividing in both cases, we're going to hop to the left 4 times, so that becomes 0.011125. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now, if you would like some more practice on this, I've got a full worksheet on this linked in the comments down below. Do check it out. And if you found this video useful, I've got loads of other content like this over on my channel.